Narcissism is not a flaw, it's a strategy. While many use narcissist as an insult, research shows it's a high-variance, high-reward strategy for getting status, power, and the hottest women. Narcissists climb faster, date better, and feel invincible. Today, we leave morality behind, and we look at narcissism as a power strategy. Hi, I'm Lucio Buffalmano, founder of The Power Moves, where I teach men how to win. And grandiose narcissists win. And this is what almost everybody gets wrong. Most people think that narcissism is one construct. It's not. There are many facets and strategies, and there are two main types, the vulnerable and the grandiose. Crucially, one is a failure, the other one is a winner. Vulnerable narcissists are the failures. They have literally been called failed narcissists by some researchers. They have a big ego and fantasies of power, but they struggle to turn those fantasies into reality. The reason why they fail comes down to psychology. They are anxious, defensive, hypersensitive to threats, and have low sense of control. This is why at The Power Moves we often repeat, it always starts with the mind. In relationships, they also have an anxious attachment. They are needy, clingy, and fear abandonment. On the other side, and this is what we focus on, we have grandiose narcissism. This is the successful form of narcissism. They are socially bold, assertive, and often extroverted. However, the key to their power, again, starts from the mind. They report high self-esteem, optimism, life satisfaction, and crucially have a strong sense of control. The difference also shows up clearly in approach orientation. The grandiose focus on what they want and go after it. That's a high power, agentic, masculine approach. Vulnerable narcissists instead focus on avoiding threats. In power terms, we refer to these approaches as predator and prey. At The Power Moves, we focus on grandiose narcissism because it delivers what we want, men's empowerment. And narcissism boosts men's power in 4 key areas. Number 1, narcissists become leaders, not necessarily because they perform better, they don't, but because they are more effective at getting to the top. So if you want to get to the top, too much modesty is a liability. Grandiose narcissism is a boost. Number 2, better dating with the exciting lover strategy. Women describe narcissists as exciting. Non-narcissists instead are nice. The boy next door. This is the psychology behind the exciting bad boy versus the too nice guy. We prefer being exciting lovers here because in mating markets, excitement beats niceness. Number 3, better social outcomes. Narcissists make stronger first impressions. They appear charismatic and confident, and they become popular. Finally, as we mentioned, narcissists enjoy higher mental power and mental health. They report higher self-esteem, higher confidence, and higher subjective well-being. On the other hand, crucially, they are also lower in anxiety and depression. This is the psychology profile of a high-power, masculine, agentic winner. So, should you become a full-blown narcissist? No. Not unless you avoid the downsides and the massive trap that can undermine a narcissist's success, especially in the long term. Because the positive sides that we mention often relate to short term and they can turn negative for the long term. Here is the difference from research. The NARC model divides narcissism into 2 strategies: admiration, which is adaptive, and rivalry, maladaptive. Admiration is assertive self-enhancement. It's self-focused and proactive. Admiration is associated with the charisma, early wins, the mental power, and the good things we want. Rivalry, instead, focuses on competitors. It's threat-sensitive. It's about tearing others down to protect the ego. And it comes with all the bad stuff we don't want. It's envy, hostility, angry overreaction, thin skin, and also lower self-esteem. Crucially, admiration builds the initial good impressions and rivalry squanders it. This dynamic is crucial for men who also want long-term intimate relationships because it explains what's known as the chocolate cake model, such as great at first, but destructive over time when rivalry kicks in. But if you remove rivalry, then you can have the best of both worlds. At the facet level, we also see the same split of adaptive and maladaptive facets. Authority and self-sufficiency are adaptive. They support a sense of personal power, self-esteem, and assertive action. Entitlement and exploitativeness instead are considered maladaptive. High entitlement leads to frustration because you always think everything is due to you and you are due king treatment, but when you don't get it, you get angry and frustrated. On the other hand, exploitativeness undermines long-term relationships because it over-focuses on what you want and what you need to other people's detriment. And others, of course, don't like it. So the key is in applying narcissism strategically. On research-based scales, I score high on the adaptive facets of grandiosity and lower on the maladaptive ones. Part of it is genetic, but I've also deliberately worked on it. I worked on strengthening the empowering parts and reducing the rest. And it's been extremely helpful in achieving goals. How much can you actually change and improve? As usual, it's almost always the same. There is a part that's genetic, but there is also much that you can do about it. And here are 4 traits to cultivate. Number 1, be high agency. There are 2 aspects here. First one is psychological, the second one is based on action. Psychologically, you want to operate from an internal focus of control, meaning trust your power to affect change. And then, based on the mental power, take decisive action to affect change. That is the dual approach to high masculine agency. Number 2, socialize strategically. A good advantage of narcissism comes from the extraversion. Now, don't worry if you're not extroverted. I'm also not. You don't need to become extroverted or loud. But it's helpful to learn to switch it on when it matters. When you enter new groups or networking event, socialize strategically. Approach more, display value, and calibrate based on people's value, power, and your goal. Number 3, increase self-sufficiency. I've often said this, strong men walk alone. Now, you don't need to walk alone, but you must be able to. In relationship, this means that contrary to popular advice, you don't want to excessively mate guard or control because it signals a low self-sufficiency orientation that is not attractive, that is not top 1% behavior. 4, acquire a honorable man approach. And this is how you use any dark triad traits without becoming destructive. Look, values without winning are empty. I don't see any honor in having a lot of values but no winning. That's the too nice guy. However, winning underhandedly is dishonorable. Peak achievement is winning with honor. The Judgment Day ultimate question is, have you given or have you taken? Ensure that you won and that you've given. In the next video, I'm dropping the full narcissistic playbook.